happy to see you here again today.
What happened to us?
I don't know.
Did we just...
I don't know.
Hi.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay.
we're back. Hi.
Little technical difficulties
Yes.
there, but we're learning. We're figuring it all out.
Mhm.
So we want to talk today about look who's coming to dinner. We know that Thanksgiving is upon us, and many of us today are preparing for our big holiday meals tomorrow, and we're going to be at a table surrounded with our family and loved ones who are all attached to many different personality types.
Mhm.
So this can make it very interesting.
Mhm. Very, very interesting.
Now, the different personality types are also attached to people that play different roles within our family. So there's a lot of dynamics that are going to be happening tomorrow.
Mhm. In the future, by the way, we will talk about the different roles that we play in our family. But today, we're just going to stay on task as much as we
get
can.
to all that. And
Yeah.
the personality disorders. We're going to be talking about so
Yes,
many fun
and
things
we
in
will
the
go
upcoming
into
weeks.
depth with this.
So at the table, we're going to have people from passive aggressives to aggressive people and narcissists, borderline
personality
even the
disorder.
abused people will be sitting at the table with us.
Yeah.
And when it all comes together, it can get kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have a story you wanted to share with us.
Oh, do I want to share it? Okay. I'll share it. And I'll try to go as fast as possible, but I'm not the fastest person, so she might just have to cut me off or push me out of the room.
Share it with us.
Okay.
It's good.
So my family, let me give you a little bit of background. We are California natives, okay? And I have an autistic aunt, an Asperger aunt. They've taken Asperger's out of the DSM, but I still believe in Asperger's. So, and I adore her, absolutely love her. And she has a meth addict, crack addict, small-time dealer as her boyfriend. That's been her boyfriend for the last 28 years. He has an affinity for me. I'm not really sure why, but, we kind of have a rapport, the two of us. So we were having Christmas, and we were actually having a really nice time. We'd already done presents, dinner, blah, blah, blah. Now, the boyfriend will go on like 5, 6, 7-day binges. So he got to my house and he just passed out on my Persian rug. He was tired. It's tough to be up for that long. Oh, I forgot to mention he's missing, maybe 6 of the front teeth and, something we can hopefully deal with down the line with some implants. But all of a sudden, I left this out. I live in a very nice gated community, or I used to, and I have an HOA that is very aggressive, very aggressive,
all can be.
like scary aggressive. Like you do not want to get on their bad side. It's like dealing with the IRS. Okay, so so all of a sudden, and so it was my dad and his girlfriend, my mom and her boyfriend, myself and some guy I was dating, and then Aunt Caroline and the meth head. Okay. So all of a sudden my dad's girlfriend's car the alarm starts going off and we can't get it off. And I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm in like just total flight, sympathetic, crazy syndrome, just running around. The neighbors are starting to come out and scream at me. It's been like 20 minutes. We're all trying to turn it off.
I'm sure your parents were screaming too.
My parents are screaming. Everybody's screaming at me. It's not even my car. I mean, okay. So anyways, I run inside the house and I notice the meth head, my Aunt Caroline, I said my Aunt Caroline's boyfriend, but that's okay, is asleep on the Persian rug. And I tap him on the shoulder and jumps up. He's like, what? What's going on? And I said, it's been 20 minutes. We cannot turn off my dad's girlfriend's car's alarm. We need your help. Like, do you think you can handle this? It's like, are you kidding? I'm on this. He runs out that door. Within 2 seconds, he's got that hanger, and he's got it shoved down that window. He's got the door open within 2 seconds. Literally 2 seconds. I'd never seen anything like it. I was like, this is awesome.
You know what I mean?
He knew what he was doing. And he had the alarm turned off, just like that. And at that moment, I thought, sometimes I have issues with him, but, sometimes he can come in handy. I mean, none of us could deal with it. So he really helped us on that Christmas evening.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that story. And I love how, if you guys notice, this was just a mindset shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is probably one of the more difficult members of your family that you have to deal with.
Yes.
They've definitely put you in some pretty intense, crazy situations with police and other stuff with this person.
We can get to that.
But the fact that you were able to see value, right, in him from this situation, and that's what I want to share with you guys, is that it's this mindset shift, right? They may be hard to deal with, they may be inflammatory, but at the end of the day, they have their value. They are part of our family and they can contribute.
Right. So
now tomorrow we're going to be
Yes.
faced with all of these situations happening again today with all of these people. And I really wanted to share 3 common situations with you guys and solutions on how to steer the conversation and keep the dinner positive. So I know that a very common situation is that inflammatory person at the table. And so, Katie,
slash aggressive. Let me just add
yeah.
that.
So I want to ask you, get your advice on this first. You know, you were in a crazy situation where everybody was being inflammatory to everyone from frustration of this annoying alarm going off.
First of all, the alarm, the neighbors.
So when
that
you're
hear
in
this,
that
yes.
moment and all these inflammatory comments are coming out, how do you deal with that? How do you cope with that?
Well, this happens at every one of my family events, so I'm getting sort of used to
lot of
it,
mine too.
a little bit habituated to it, but there are things that I do. She's going to add one that she does, and I think it's a great thing that she does, but one thing that I do is if I feel my anxiety rising and it's getting to about here, it's like a level 7, I decide I'm going to walk away. Like, I don't, just because I'm hosting doesn't mean that I have to sit at the table the whole time. So I walk away. I go outside. I take a walk around the block with my dog. I go into another room and I put my dog against me and just to feel the heart, and because that's very calming and soothing. I journal. I call my sister in a different state because she's not there, you know. She can give me, she's not there seeing it all, so she can be a little bit more rational.
Yeah. I think when I'm in the moment, and this is what I do habitually all the time,
Which is good.
I don't know, it probably frustrates some people, but I don't care. I'm not going to cave into that. I handle it by changing the subject. I completely pretend I didn't hear the inflammatory comment, and I change the subject. I usually go into these dinners with 4 or 5 different topics in my mind that I can pull out really quick, like, you know, maybe
The
weather, politics, which starts a whole other fun
but at least
discussion,
it
but
goes
it
on to
deflects.
something else. Exactly.
Right, and it can be inflammatory to other people, not the people sitting at the table.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So sometimes that's good, but, you know, like we were saying
Also-
before, if someone says, hey, you know, looks like you've put on some weight.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
Right?
great one. That's a
You
great
hear
one.
that all the time.
Yeah, women love that. you know.
Yeah. I don't cater to that. I pretend not to hear it, right? And say something great to them. Oh, I love your shirt. It's so nice to see you. Or if we're like fully in the meal and something like that comes out, I just, oh, guys, can you believe this weather? Or, man, did you hear about all this new space travel? Jeff Bezos just went up, you know, something
Or
just
even, you know,
totally off topic and crazy, and then it can steer the conversation.
it
right?
can. Or you can even go to, you know what, let's have dessert. And you could have 4 pieces of pie and just, you know, flip on the bird. You can also say, hey, let's open gifts, time to move. And even moving the environment from the
Yeah.
kitchen or dining room to the living room adds a whole different perspective. Puts
Yeah.
us in different positions, seating positions, etc.
So, and I think, you know, it's really important, and this will lead us into our second tip, right? A common thing is to just go into the dinner thinking, oh, it's going to be terrible, and all this negative energy. Instead of that, my second tip is
Can I help you here for
having
1 second? Oh, go
a
ahead.
good coping mechanism,
Yes.
right?
We
You
need a
to
good
have
conscious coping mechanism
set
in your
up in
coping
place.
toolbox.
Right.
And it's different for everybody, and it's what works for you.
Yep. And again, that goes back to maybe you need to walk away for a minute, right? Or
Drink some water.
you know, when Uncle Eddie over there drinks too much booze and he's hammered in the corner.
Put him in the
Right.
bed. Put him in the bed.
But be prepared for that. Don't get frustrated by it. He's obviously got his own stuff going on, right? It's not a reflection of you.
Can I say one thing that's very
Yeah.
important? I think it's hard because we're so in these roles and we're so used to fighting with our family and blah blah blah. It doesn't mean that there isn't so much love there too. But it's
Yeah.
remembering that, you know what, I'm not always going to have this. I'm
Right.
not always going to have my mom around. I'm not always going to have my dad around. I'm not always going to have my sister around. And I'm so thankful that I have that. right now. And I'm going to look back on this someday and I'm going to go, gosh, why didn't I appreciate those times? Why didn't I appreciate those times? Because they're not here now. It's different now.
Yeah.
You know, so really reminding ourselves of how thankful we are for whatever we have, whether it be a friend thing, what's it called?
Yeah.
Friendsgiving,
I
or
love Friendsgiving.
or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
These people aren't around forever, whether they move away or whatever. So really like embracing and loving the moment, even if it's not perfect.
Again, it's about your mindset,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
If you are feeling negative about it, you're going to go into it. It's probably going to be a negative,
Mhm.
right? Laws of
Exactly.
attraction. You attract what you're feeling. So if you go into it positive and
Mhm.
say, you know what? Even if inflammatory comments come, I have my ways of changing the topic, and I'm not going to internalize it.
Mhm.
I'm going to know that's their issue.
Mhm.
They have their problem. I'm going to ignore that and let them sit with that while I keep my mindset positive and focus on the happy things that we've got going on.
Now I do have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
We've addressed aggressive, hostile, whatever. We haven't addressed passive aggressive, which is a whole nother little
That's where the inflammatory
situation.
comments come from.
They do, but they're in a nice little passive aggressive, insidious, way.
Yeah.
They come out. And they can and it can take the person a long time to recognize, I don't feel good. Something
Yeah.
just happened to me. I don't feel good, but I don't know why.
So when those situations arise and something has come out, I encourage you to take your time. Stop for a minute.
Mhm.
Think about what they've been saying.
Mm-hmm.
Think about your response,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And just give yourself that time instead of immediately flying off the handle and getting angry and going
Mhm.
into a fight.
That doesn't work.
Don't
I've tried
cater
it.
to them.
Yeah, I've tried that. It doesn't
Don't
work.
let them, take you down that rabbit hole. You don't need it.
Can I ask you a question, Lindsay? You said something really great the other day when we were just talking about this topic. And you said what Southern women say, which is funny because this is something that my sister told me to say with passive-aggressive people. And so I just wanted,
It
I
was
thought
funny.
the way
we
you
were
said
talking
it.
about tips, and
Yeah.
she had said, well, I, sometimes will turn around and be like, what did you say? And I had this funny laugh because I remembered this meme that I had seen. I actually went to university in Virginia, so I lived in the South for a little while. And it's kind of like a known thing that when a Southern woman says, what did you say to you? She's definitely not expecting you to speak again, and she's wondering if you're dumb enough to repeat what you've just said.
Mhm.
So when
There
she said,
you
oh,
go.
I turn around and I say what to them, I was like, nope, they're going to respond.
So you've outsmarted them. You've outsmarted them.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a really
and
great
that, I
tip.
think we kind of did just also talk about, our third common situation, and that's the family fight.
Oh.
And I love your tip of realigning the situation. Get everybody up and moving.
Oh, I think it's great to get into different settings or going like, oh, these two are
Yeah.
fighting, whatever. Dad, you go into the kitchen and start carving up the pumpkin pie. He's like, I don't know how to carve a pumpkin pie. Figure it out. You're smart. And Mom, you go in and start cutting up the cheese plate in another room. You know what I mean? And let's all congregate to the living room. Change seating. Start to open gifts. Play some Christmas music,
Yeah.
Hanukkah music, whatever it is that you celebrate.
Yep, absolutely. And I think, the most important thing, I'll say it again, is the mindset, right? You've got to keep your mindset shift to being positive, having fun, and not letting any of those derogatory things bring you down.
And recognizing, once again, which I think is the most salient part of what we've talked about, that no matter what, no matter how much these people drive you nuts, these are the people that you love, most of them, and that you only have this time once. So try
Right.
to make it the best that you can, because
Yep.
you never know when it's going to end.
Yeah, for sure. And I love these 3 tips. And with that, we want to wish you guys a very happy Thanksgiving.
Don't go crazy with the cooking, even though I know it's
And remember just to
daunting.
stay positive.
Yes.
Right? We got you. We're here to empower you.
Mhm.
And we want you guys to live life as consciously and as fullest as possible.
Yes.
On Friday, we're going to be talking about fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode,
With the amygdala.
and how to heal from your Thanksgiving hangover.
Yes.
Emotional
What do we
hangover.
call it? A Hankstover? No. A Thankstover? You know what we're saying.
Something like that. So
Yeah.
we'll be here. We got your back. We will see you guys right here on Friday at 10 o'clock. Happy Thanksgiving.